Hi, I'm Olivia, as some of you may know.
I'm Callie Misitich.
You guys will be playing the role of movie producers. We want to turn this as a book into a movie.
So our book is called Beyond Control, where a Secret Service agent must lead a batch of spies on a daring mission to uncover the cause of unusual natural disasters, and they must confront an ancient evil.
Our story, this is a sci-fi drama that addresses the inner battle of overcoming death and how it not only affects your friends and family, but the world around you.
And this is a possible promotional movie poster which shows our main characters standing on top of the boat, looking for whatever they might encounter in the ocean.
So our story contains 5 characters, a batch of spies, Logan, Hunter, and Grayson, who are all led by Bailey, and Kenji is the ancient evil, as you may recognize in our law.
Starting with the protagonist, we have Bailey, who is a 26-year-old woman with piercing blue eyes and a signature dog paw tattoo on her arm. Due to a rough childhood of losing her best friend, what she blames herself for, she's now fiercely independent and one of the best agents in the industry.
Kenji is a native to our world. He is thousands of years old, and when he was very close with his friends and family, who were tragically wiped out due to a unfortunate incident.
Next, we have our secondary characters, which Bailey helps lead throughout the mission.
Logan is a 32-year-old woman who is radically challenged but has a huge personality. She's always the center of attention, and she not only speaks up for herself, but she speaks up for both Hunter and Grayson.
In the middle, we have Hunter, who is a tall, quiet 25-year-old man who's often the muscle of the mission and helps keep Logan and Grayson out of trouble.
Grayson is a 28-year-old male. He is very tech-savvy, so he's constantly behind the computer when trying to figure out how to build a new device to help his friends. He's also willing to stay behind and do all the research for the missions.
Act 1 of our story opens with Bailey working in her office when she suddenly gets an alert for a new mission. She has to go out and investigate the rise of natural disasters, something that does not happen on this world. Her excitement soon turns to worry when she realizes that she has to work with a team, something she's not done since the loss of her friend. She goes and talks to her boss, and her boss threatens her job if she continues to ignore working with others. She feels defeated and goes out to prepare for the mission.
Act 2 starts off with our spies leaving their home and starting their journey. They travel to the nearest island, which is days of travel. There is many arguments between Bailey and the rest of the crew due to her not being able to work well with others. When they finally arrive to the other island, the locals are confused on why there are strangers there, because it's very rare for strangers to happen. The group then splits up to figure out more information and ask questions about these natural disasters. Over time, they learn that during or after the natural disasters, the locals noticed a mysterious figure that would be there every time. And once the group regathers, there is a massive tsunami that starts to occur. Logan and Bailey start chatting arguments, causing confusion, which eventually turns into an argument. They both try fighting over the wheel when Hunter finally finds out that Grayson has gone missing. Once the tsunami comes to an end, Hunter finds a wet notebook on the ground and brings it with him as he rejoins Bailey and Logan. Through this notebook, Bailey comes to realize that this mysterious figure is Kenji.
And so the ending of our story is now up to you guys. We do have an ending with our book on how it plays out and what happens to Grayson and whether or not Kenji gets away or not. But we are willing to change the end for the movie. Our reflection is I'm very passionate about this because I'm not a writer. I don't really write. I like to read. So it was very difficult for me to come up with an idea during our world building, but I had a lot of fun in the beginning of the project because I had a lot of fun just researching and thinking about the world itself while Olivia focused on building the characters. And that kind of reflects our research projects as well, since I focused on the world building and how natural disasters don't really occur as often in this world. I wrote my essay about how countries here deal with natural disasters and who helps them or support.
I'm very passionate about this project because I got the opportunity to create something from scratch and let my imagination loose and have like multiple characters form and have their whole personality and backstory. My research essay was of talking about how, like, what the right age parents should start introducing, like, the topic of death to their children, since it happens constantly at any age. And I thought this is connected to the real world because a few days ago was the 3-year mark of since COVID started, and so many like lives were lost of like grandparents, parents, and like friends, and like family just like unfortunately like lost their lives due to COVID.
Questions, comments?
Is it?
I mean, you guys talk about like how you're passionate about this, and I get that like, you know, it was a really creative process. Was there anything that like inspired you guys, or you just kind of meditated on it and it came to life? Like, was there any like source of inspiration?
For the world building, I was kind of inspired from this book series called The Unwanted, written by Lisa McMahon. It's a 7-book series, and each book focuses on a different island they come across, which they don't find out about the islands or haven't even traveled to it until the end of the first book. So that's where I came up with the idea that our world should be a lot of fairly spread apart islands.
For my character, I originally started off with Bailey, and like I kind of wanted her to be like separated than like what is considered like normal, and so like she's very intelligent and like
Is this kind of like a found family story where they all kind of like just like eventually are like, "Ee," and then yeah.
It's a story that like acting that we thought of.
You said you guys had like a potential ending for your story. Do you want to like talk a little bit about what you maybe had planned for that?
For Act 3, we were thinking that the notebook that they found, that Hunter found, shows that Kenji is native to the like island that they landed on, and there's like a location where he's gonna let this machine, which is the like he built that causes the natural disasters, and so they start walking towards this location, and after like throughout this time it was like there was silent moments and then there's arguments about who was to blame about what happened to Grayson, and one night once they like settle down in camp, Hunter and Logan leave Bailey to go and like get Kenji by themselves. So when Bailey wakes up, she's alone, and she has to decide whether or not to go after them. And she does, and they're able to like defeat Kenji and the machine.